Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome to this video taking you through the latest graphics guide on Hell Let Loose post update 9. A lot of things have changed, a lot of good things and bad things. We've also had a lot of new players since the free weekend. We've had update 9. So I think it's about time that a new graphics guide came out, and hopefully you get a lot out of this video. So if you're watching guys and you like it, give it a like, subscribe to the channel to see more, and absolutely drop your comments in the comment section below about whether any of this worked, or if it didn't, or if you think anything's missing. It goes without saying that this isn't the be-all and the end-all of graphics guides. All of this highly depends on your PC, your hardware. It's more a guide for people who find it a daunting task and have no idea where to start or even what to try. It's also for the new players who've just joined us after the free weekend, and obviously with post update 9, there's a lot that is different since the last kind of graphics guide. So I've tried to include as much as I can here. I hope you enjoy the video and some of this helps you. And if it does, drop a like in your comments below and subscribe to see more. Let's get this started. The first thing you want to get right is the fundamentals. Play the game from an SSD, not an HDD. SSDs are far faster, more reliable, and playing from one will absolutely improve the speed at which your game loads and generally plays. Also, the more RAM, the better, and the more chips, the better. Playing from one chip causes a load of performance issues apparently, especially on low settings, and you want to have at least 8 GB of RAM to run it, so keep that in mind. The final fundamental here is to make sure that you're decluttering any of your background processes and that your files are all verified. That will absolutely go a long way to make sure you're not experiencing any sort of in-game issues. Just to be clear, I'm not saying you have to do any of these fundamentals or all of them. The more the better, but if you can, for example, at least play from an SSD or have a decent amount of RAM, you'll definitely improve performance quite a bit already. Next, you want to make sure all your software is fully updated and start going into your graphics card settings. Now, I'm going to go through this from an NVIDIA card point of view, but you can find guides out there for Radeon cards as well. What you want to do is go into your control panel and make sure you go to graphics settings and absolutely add Hell Let Loose if it's not already there. You then want to make the following changes. Change image sharpening to around 0.50 and ignore film grain by 0.17. It's absolutely subjective, and you should absolutely play around with these settings while you're in game, but these are what work for me essentially. Then you want to basically set the AA here and bypass the game settings completely. This will be down to your personal preference, but I set mine to, mode enhance application settings, setting to about 4 times and transparency to 8 times. All of these here will make sure that you can see the enemies as clear as possible and kind of curtail that blurriness that you're getting in game. Finally, absolutely make sure your power management is set to maximum performance. You don't want to be trying to, optimize the game to have as much power in the back end. You want to just go full throttle with the game as much as possible. Now, as I said, some of these settings will be personal preference, but what you're trying to do here essentially is bypass as many of the in-game settings as possible in favor of your graphics card doing the work for you. Finally, there are a few in-game settings to play around with. Make sure that the first thing you do is put view distance on epic. You want to be able to see the enemies as quickly and clearly as possible, so this will go a long way. Your high settings are all personal preference again, but I find FX, post-processing, and texture quality should be at least at high. Finally, your medium settings need to be medium, as these will help you with your FPS. So shadow and foliage should absolutely be at a medium. Shadow, just so you know, it isn't really about, the degree of the shadow at all time. It's more of a case of when shadow comes into play from a distant point of view. So that's just an FYI, guys, but having that on medium or even low at all times will really help with your FPS. Lastly, there are a few other tricks you can use if you're still not happy with how the game looks, or if you're having lowish FPS. Turn your sound quality up to epic. Why? I have no idea, but some users report it helps, so why not? Obviously, everyone knows about the INI files, and while the dev team have said they're gonna lock it, they haven't yet. So I'm not gonna go through that in the video here. It's been done many times before, but if you haven't tried it yet, Google it and play around with those two. They will definitely help your in-game settings. Set hellletloose.exe properties to launch as administrator, disable full screen optimization, and set compatibility for Windows 8, even if you play on Windows 10. These settings are definitely going to make a difference if you try them, so give them a whirl. Finally, guys, you can play around with the launch options settings and your properties, and obviously, go through Google to find some of these and play around with what works for you. I personally just add DirectX 12 as that kind of makes the game a bit more stable and more beautiful for me. Some people report it crashes on quarantine when you enable it, but give it a whirl, see if it works. My only kind of, I guess, point here is that with future updates, we'll get more optimizations, and some of these will already be kind of enabled, so you won't need to do these for very long. Fingers crossed. That's all, folks. I really do hope you try some of these suggestions and get a nice FPS boost, or at the very least, your game looks a little bit better. U9, as with every update, has made a few things weird while making others better, so hopefully these settings work for you. Like and drop your comments below and let me know if any of these settings worked, or if I haven't included any and you found a few that worked for you, or if none of them work and it's made it worse, that's okay as well. Drop them in the comments section below. We're all one big community, guys, who love the game and want to make it the best it can be. So absolutely drop your thoughts and subscribe to see more. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time.